All right. We're being live streamed onto YouTube. Woohoo! Okay, so here we are, putting the home selling sharks. Brought the shark in today because the shark represents what we do every day, fighting the home selling sharks. And today we have on our panelists, we have Diane Cardano, my wonderful husband, who's very supportive and very knowledgeable about what's going on in the world and everything, and plus a broker and an master appraiser. Of course, Dom Giordano, our staple meet and greet here. So if anybody has any questions for Dom, we're gonna have little questions and answers, or just wants to have a little conversation about what's going on with the world, Dom is definitely going to be here with us for the hour. Stephanie and Bobby. Bobby's my nephew and my partner in crime, this real estate company. And our Cardano team, and Stephanie's our executive assistant, and she's going to be helping you answer any questions that you might have. So getting started today, has anybody, before we get started, I know Stan always has something to say, and so anything you want to tell us before we get started?
Well, first off, you know, you've been doing these seminars for a long time, and you have a great following of people, and Don's been kind enough to be on a lot of these shows. In fact, it was because of this we got him back into golf again. And although his son Luke is
already. My golf
is a good golfer.
Matter. What am I?
I'm waiting for him to be my partner in a tournament, but I think I'm going to take Luke. Is who I'm going to take. So tell him to line it up. Anyhow, that's been one of the good things. But as Dom will tell you, all of his sponsors, all of the people that he talks about on 1210, in fact, all the shows on 1210, from Rich to all the people there, they all have a real cadre of people that are committed to them as they are committed to those people, and they check them out. I remember when we went to see Dom the first time, it was like he was interviewing us and we were interviewing him, and it lasted an hour, and then he came to a couple of the seminars that we were doing and said, okay, I can accept you on there. So when he speaks about his friend Diane Cardano-Casacio, it's because he's been part of our lives for such a long time, just because of his involvement in our businesses and everything else, like he does with so many other people. And Don, you can speak to that.
Well, what I'm impressed with, Stan, both the personal friendship and your golfing. You two are serious golfers. Even Luke said that, particularly Diane, to put it mildly. We thought we were. And it doesn't surprise me. Diane's attention to detail and drive are second to none. And she has charted a course through here. I love details, and I love somebody who is a revolutionary in those. And what you get with what Diane has done not only works in a practical sense, but really given our listeners the level of confidence, the success that we've had, particularly Stan and Diane, to the point, if you're thinking about selling, how incrementally you can do this by attending the seminar, getting the book, etc., rather than this big mess of pressure that some people have. Somehow or another, someone's told them, well, don't worry about anything until like a month before you're ready to sell. And this is such genius of small incremental things you can do with your home and getting yourself ready, that in the end work, where this becomes almost by the numbers of what Diane's going to do to sell your home with minimum stress, minimum time, and maximum dollars. So I have just been impressed with that right from the beginning, and from listeners. And I know the trust level, they can go to a million different real estate people, but I also know Diane too. We've talked about a few times, but maybe not in recently, about EXP and what that does to the core of what you have already brought to it. The extra bandwidth, if you will, that gives you has been the big story of the last year or so, I guess.
Yeah, since March, the global aspect of real estate is people are usually going to your local real estate office. You walk in the door and, you used to look in the books, right? So the local real estate offices are going down the wayside, having these big buildings, because everything could be done online. And in our EXP world, we go into our world and we connect with people all over. We just got into Greece, and we're in Italy and Paris, we're everywhere. So when I list a house, it goes out to, I'm on a website that goes out to all over EXP agents all over the world, and it's global. So it's kind of interesting to get that reach for clients, and not only the reach I was getting before. So I'm noticing even more people coming and showing up to my seminars than ever before. And also,
we may need translators in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I have a person who just asked me for a referral in Utah, and I just went on in the EXP, and they're all top producing agents. So what they're attracting is the heavy hitters, people who already have a book of clients, and there's amazing amount, and all the new people that come in have to be mentored. You cannot just go right into real estate, which is really interesting. So it keeps our company another level up, where most real estate companies will take anybody. EXP, if you come on as a new agent, you have to be trained. So that's a little bit about that. But today, because we're all here to talk about market, I'm going to have some notes here for you to go over, and some great slides. And anybody want to ask a question, put it in the chat, please. And Stephanie or Bobby will get your questions answered, and we'll raise your hand. There's a little button at the bottom. You can raise your hand. So we're going to get a template today for what to expect in the coming market. And the idea is to create some certainty. Well, the only way you can create certainty is if you know what is happening. So next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we're going to talk about what's happening right now in the real estate market. And because I believe, say yes, that we are in extraordinary times when we say that right now.
Oh,
and
definitely different, that's for sure.
It's definitely different. And winter, which is supposed to be a slower time in real estate, we used to say, Bobby, don't you remember this? Oh, after the Super Bowl, it's a great time to sell your home, right? Then the market will pick up. But over the last couple of years, we have not been saying that. We have a spike in COVID. We had lines around the block during the holidays for people waiting to get tested because they couldn't see their family without one. You got to walk in the door at your family party with a COVID test that's negative.
Yeah,
we have inflation.
And yet we were just in Disney World, and there was no social distancing there.
There was no social distancing.
No social distancing there, although we did wear masks when we went inside. But people, I got to tell you, people were so gracious down there. They really were. It was really amazing.
Let's keep going. That was crazy. There's inflation, where costs of everything is going up. Shelves are empty. We have a volatile stock market. A crypto just took a nosedive in the last couple of days. I'm not sure if any saw that. And we have, we're just shelves of, you go to the store, you can't even find things that you normally want. So with all this said, home values are still going up 18 to 20%. So something's going on, right? I had a property in Cherry Hill. It's going on the market next weekend, and we priced it at $350 in October, and today is going on the market for $380, $30,000 in 1 quarter. And then we had another property we said $400,000 in the summer, and just sold for $475, so without even going on the market. And that's also in New Jersey. Some of our Pennsylvania properties are doing the same thing. So the winter market is the summer market. And due to all what's going on in the economy, economists are predicting 2022. However, I think we see as boots on the ground more than what they see. We're in the trenches every day. Like the data we have today goes back through December. It's the latest market you can get. But they don't know what's going on, actually. They're not on the ground like we are. Maybe home prices won't appreciate at a high rate as it did last year, but I would say they're not depreciating. So I was on the phone with a lady yesterday, and she was like, my friends told me homes are going down, prices are going down. I'm like, no, they're appreciating, maybe not at a higher rate, but they're not depreciating. Okay, so everybody knows that. So 4 topics today. 1, inventory, how its effect on buyout activity, equity. What should homeowners do with their equity? Housing affordability, interest rate and their effects on home values, and inflation. And if you have a question, again, put it in your chat, raise your hand. And I'm going to do some screen sharing. So I have my notes here. We all ready? All right, let's do this. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. No, I'm kidding. I should be able to do this. I'm going to share my sound and optimize for video and share. And then housing affordability, interest rate. Look at that, I'm live already on Facebook. That was me live. So everybody can see, Bobby, the screen? Say yes?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so we're at the Home Selling Shark seminar. If you think that you're at another seminar, we're not. This is for home sellers selling the next 3 to 24 months. Inventory. This is a guaranteed market indicator. Inventory is low. So I have some bad news. Bad news is that listings are at record lows. Over the last couple of years, one thing has been true, that interest rates, the low rates and people's definition of home, people desire to own a home. That desire, I feel, has depleted the housing supply all across the country. A number of different reasons for the causes. Buyers want to build wealth. They're working from home. Renting is expensive, and they have limited options to customize their space. Bottom line is listings are at record lows. And if we start to look at that, look at the graphic representation of this, let me just see if I can show you here. I believe the next slide. Yes, this is through December 2021. So just a month ago, the most recent data, 27% almost down year over year of inventory. So you can look across the country. Idaho kind of leading the way. We're somewhere in the blue area, 14.3%, and New Jersey, 29.2%. But no doubt a significant lack of inventory. Now the truth is right now in real estate, we may not be able to reach our market potential because we cannot sell what we don't have. So I need people to get their homes on the market. And if we have plenty of inventory, you probably see more homes sold in this country than ever before. But we need that inventory. But we don't have homes to sell. So if you're frustrated where things are, what's going on, I'm not saying it's not impossible to buy a home, or obviously it's easy to sell a home, but this defines reality. So buyers, it's not, if you're a buyer out there also, it's not impossible to buy a home, though you might feel it is. So here's the month of inventory. We go back to 2019, look at month supply of inventory, residential real estate. So think about 2019, 4-month average, we call it supply, start to dip down in 2020, okay? And that was, why, because of the COVID. And then start really depleting from then. The record low of December, January last year, so that was a record low. Right now we're near it, and we're here to 2.1. I believe for December, it's going to be down again. I believe when you get this supply for next month, it's going to be down even more. And then we go back looking. I like this slide the best. This is the best one. Anybody wants to chime in or have anything they want to say or raise your hand a question? I'm not looking at that, so that's Bobby or Stephanie to help me with that one. So this is bottom line with inventory. We don't have what we need. We can't sell what we don't have. We'll not reach market potential in real estate this year if we don't have inventory. The question I get a lot, I think the experts are getting, and what we're seeing, I believe, is that this wave of the coronavirus and inventory will affect the inventories. This wave, I believe, is affecting, because look at us. We're here. We're supposed to be at Cedar Brook Country Club enjoying breakfast, but we're here because people were not coming out. People were canceling. They're afraid to come out. And it's going to affect real estate, this virus, and it is affecting, but we don't know how much. But now we're seeing it in the inventory. It could affect people delaying putting their home on the market. I don't think it's a long-term stretch effect, but any stretch of imagination. But I think over the month of January, it's going to affect people. Okay, so if you look down here, this has been going on. And I've been saying this every seminar. I'm like, look how this inventory. And every winter, it was getting worse and worse, becoming like the spring market. And now this is the spring market. It is crazy. All right, so buyer activity. If anybody has any questions about inventory, please put it in the chat, or anybody wants to chime in about something, please do. All right, let's talk for a minute about buyer activity. All right. We know inventories at record lows, but what happened with the buyers? You know, just like I talked about with the effect of the pandemic potentially on sellers, one thing I can definitely tell you, it's not pushing buyers back. It's not slowing buyer demand. They are out there. I put a listing on Zillow and within 5 minutes had 7 or 8 people calling. 5 minutes, never before. So crazy. Showings are strong. Okay, so over the holiday, it's usually pretty slow. Headlines right there on the slide. You can't get better than that. Greater than last November. This is from Showing Time. Showing Time is the company that schedules all the showings for us. Ever since the pandemic, we've looked at Showing Time to measure activity. We know on the front end, it's a leading indicator of activity. If people aren't scheduling showings, then those ultimately don't turn into contracts and ultimately sold homes. But we look at this past November as compared to last November. We're ahead in showings, stronger activity. It's very interesting. You can see here. All across the country. This is all across the country. I think this speaks really to maybe those that wonder, okay, where is the health of real estate market? Is it slowing down? It is not. Just let you know, this is an indicator right here. Number of people walk through the door. I don't think people walk through the door, don't walk through the door, buy houses. There's people walking through doors. And then we have showings that crushed the pre-pandemic numbers. And it isn't, I don't know, to me, it looks kind of crazy. It goes back to 2017. I consider those last 3 years a normal years. Anybody understands normal? These are the normal years, okay? So I believe that, I think the next slide, I want to show you. Yes. Okay, yes, the pending numbers. Showings, I don't know if you know, but they traditionally lag during the holiday season. But the data I just showed you tells us the buyer demand is strong. There's no doubt buyers are out there. And there's no doubt buyers are out there because you can look at the sales. Look at this pre-pandemic 2021, 2022, 2020. 125.8 and 122.4 pending sales. That's a lot. So strong demand, those demands have to turn into contracts. The market is moving there. We just need more listings. I don't know how many times I could say we need more listings, but that's what we need. We are a few minutes into this market report right now, and maybe you're thinking, I already know we don't have any inventory. But I know I've got plenty of buyers. I know they're out there. So what's the opportunity? So what is the opportunity right now because of this market? We're looking at all these slides and we're all hanging out here looking to say, what's the opportunity? I've got plenty of buyers out there. There's a number of them. And the biggest one, I believe, is this, home equity. Home equity is the big opportunity. Okay. We have renters wanting to stop wasting money on rent and buy a house. They want to gain equity. That's the main thing. If you ask any renter why they want to buy, I want some equity. I'm going to start throwing my money away. Because, hey, I want this equity. I want part of this deal. They want to say, and then we have these other buyers who actually have a house who are saying, wow, I want to move up. How do I take this equity and move up? Maybe you're downsizing. How do I use this to build a little bit of nest egg with? What do I do with my equity? And I want to go over that, and I can go over that individually with people as we go through this process. Number of different things that people are doing with their home equity. They're buying, they're reinvesting in their home. Maybe they have a new roof to put on, whatever it is. They're using the money to stay put, and that's the other thing. People are using their home equity to stay put. But no doubt it's there. No people. People are thinking and actively considering using their home equity to do something different. They're actually looking to move on. They want to buy something. So do you know how much your home is worth? Do you know how much equity is in your home? Are there things that you need to do with your equity? It's time to cash in and invest the equity. Lay out your next plan. What is it I need to do? I think a lot of people are just stuck. They're paralyzed. They don't know what to do. So what we're doing for everybody is we're giving them, all of our clients are getting an annual equity analysis to decide what to do with their equity. Is it time to move, or should we do some investment in their home? And that's great for everybody on our seminars. We go out and we do an annual equity analysis and also a room by room review and kind of go through and figure out what it is to do with their equity. That's really important right now. I mean, if you stay in your house and the roof goes and the heater goes and the windows go, there's all your equity. Get out and put the money in a new place, into your next life. So next slide. CoreLogic is the company that we use a lot to get our stats from. And their third quarter home equity report showed the average homeowners, you can see here, gained $57,000. What are you going to do with your $57,000? That's average. On the West Coast, it's probably multiple of that. In the middle of the country, probably about that. I think we're at 30. I think the next slide, I'll show you a map. Depending upon where you are, it's a shocking number, I think. So people need to know this. Tell your friends, family. 31.1%, that's a year-over-year percentage of increase in equity for United States homes with mortgages. Crazy. 3.2 trillion rise in equity, right? And they go on to say that this summer, home price growth reached the highest level in 45 years. Whew. It's a long time. So equity, no doubt, the shining star of the pandemic, I call it. We know the story continues on. We talked about the pandemic in 2020, how equity was going to allow people to get out of foreclosures as prices were rising, allowing the ability to sell. And that happened to several of our clients who were in foreclosure, and we got them out of it. So it is a good thing. Here's a map. We're looking around 30,000 here in Pennsylvania. For my New Jersey guys, as you know, I'm licensed in both New Jersey and Pennsylvania, about 58. So, and that probably is because of North Jersey. And on the shore points, I see them going up. We have a place in Ocean City. I know the prices there. I know we had our house appraised for one number, and now it's like almost 150,000 higher than a year ago or something like that. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, let's look at look at California, 119. We knew that, right? This is a good thing for homeowners. A report came out a couple of months ago saying in every major city, it's cheaper to buy a home than to rent when you consider the equity growth right now. So bottom line, not only have equity gains help homeowners, transition out of forbearance and avoid a distressed sale, they've enabled many to continue building wealth, and that's what it's all about. So
Diane, can I interject
yeah.
one thing? One thing
Yeah.
people have to think about is, of course, that equity becomes locked up in those properties. So you need to talk to someone to discuss what your future plans are. In order, it may be better to rent based on your plans of the future where you stand right now. So just remember, when you buy something, that equity is not liquid; it's locked up in that asset. So that's just one thing to think about, and we can help you go through that process to a certain degree, so that you can figure out what the best alternative is for you.
Yes, and that's what I would love to do for everybody. My current clients are getting our annual equity. They love it. We go in there and trying to figure out exactly what it is they can do with their equity. So buy versus rent. Rents has been skyrocketing. Sam will know because he owns several apartments. And this is what this woman, I follow this woman. She's an economist at CoreLogic. Single family rent growth hit its 6th consecutive record high. Annual rent growth was more than 3 times a year earlier. Rent growth should continue to be robust in the near term, especially as the labor market continues to improve. There you go. I'm showing you a little graph here, what it looks like. Now, in detached homes versus attached homes. So detached is very much more desirable, is because there's not many. If you look at the attached versus detached, it's like a condo or versus a single family home, you'll find that most of them that go for rent are the attached. So when they do get a single family home to rent, rents are just going up crazy. So here's my theme for today about this stuff. Homes are less affordable, not unaffordable. So to get that message out to people that, you can still afford a home, and to become less affordable as interest rates go up. Because that same house may be worth, your payment is going to be $200 more come just maybe 3 months from now or 6 months from now. And now showing the affordability index. So it has come down. And I personally believe in it because interest rates, they're pretty much stable over the last year. But I believe this is happening because the prices are going up. As the prices go up so much more, people just can't afford it. And that's where I'm at. But this is obviously the orange area where the properties, this is our distressed market. We're still above the quote unquote normal years in the past.
Diane, there was one thing I wanted to mention that there's always people that have to sell. And
Right.
if you're in that position of needing to sell, this is probably a very good time to do it because the demand is high. You don't have a long time on the market. You'll be able to get top dollar. Interest rates are still very reasonable. So you're going to get your biggest bang for your buck right now. The biggest question is, what do you do with that additional equity you get when you sell your property? But those people that have to sell, now's a very good time to do it, because if interest rates, inflation kicks up, the higher the interest rates are, the less affordable the houses are. So prices will begin to flatten out quite a bit. Now, I saw that during the late 1970s. I know Dom's way too young to remember that time, but we had 21% interest rate, 18% interest rates, and you thought you got a deal if you had 13% on a home mortgage. So just think about what that adds to your cost. So if you're really in a position where you have to sell, you're an empty nester, you have to get out. You'll make your best deals in your
Right.
55 plus, and now's a very good time to do it.
So
And Stan, you and Diane both think that it's a fait accompli. Interest rates are going to have to go up because inflation is not going to ebb anytime soon, at least by anybody that I read.
Well, you got to remember, inflation is the most insidious tax a government can perpetrate on its people. It is a tax. It is a government tax, and it just creates a scenario where everything has to go up. And the question is, can people keep up with that inflation? And that's the big problem. Like at the end of the 70s, you had stagflation where nobody was getting ahead and prices were just going up and up and up. So to answer your question, that's why right now I see this huge window of opportunity for people who have houses that they want to sell.
Mhm.
Now's the time to do it.
yeah.
That's what I see right now. And that's based on 50 years of being in the business.
So good. And that it is a very good time because, like you said, things are going up. Might as well just get to your new place where you want to go and enjoy life there. Don't get stuck. The hardest part is getting started. And that's why we're here today. This slide I love because it shows you the percentage of income that are still within the guidelines. So the percent that standard that lenders prefer is 28%. And it's going up a little bit, but we're still nowhere near where it's going to be a problem. Next, interest rates. Dom was just saying about the interest rates. I'm going to go a little bit into that right now, and the effect on home values and home prices. So as you can see here from Fannie, Freddie, NAR, MBA, they're all saying about 2020 broken down by quarter. First, second, third, fourth, the average there. I'm not going to tell you this is where interest rates are going to be. I believe that's a fool's game. I really can't get involved in that, but I'm going to always tell you what the experts are saying on this one. I'm going to give you their expert opinion. And what they're saying now is that somewhere between 3.5% and 4% in the second half of the year We're seeing a volatility even this week. I saw rates jump up a little bit and then they went back down again. One of my clients got it was jumped up to like 3.6 and then the next day it went down 3.2 and then she locked in. So that's a good thing. I go up and down, up and down. But we are in an upward trend, as everybody was saying here. So let me show you this slide I have here. It's a cool slide. Goes back to 2016. So the last 10 years, we've been between 3 and 5% in the average 30-year fixed. Still great financing for your home. Sam was saying it's still great to do it. It's my hope to create certainty in what buyers should expect as they go into the process. That's kind of what we do. We kind of consult buyers, letting them know about the bidding wars. It is still wild, wild west out there. People are taking keys out of the lockbox and hiding them. I mean, it's crazy what's going on out there. So I have to tell, let's put 2 lockboxes on, one we hide and one in the front because people are stealing keys to make sure nobody else gets in there. So how will interest rates affect home prices and home sales, people say? Well, this just shows you if you wait the fourth quarter projected rate, that your payment will go up $126. $126 a month. It takes like $3,000 or $4,000 a month. That means you can buy less house. About the 30, maybe about $25,000 or $30,000 less of a house if you wait. That's why we're saying it's time to buy. Talked about that already. And so house prices and existing home sales have historically been resilient to rising mortgage rates. And you're saying, how could that be? Well, let me show you. Home prices impacted slightly by rising mortgage rates. This is from 2000. This is historic, guys. This is it. You want to show anybody a graph? This is the one to show them. They're sitting there, oh, interest rates are going up. I'm going to keep my house. I'm not putting my house on the market. No, it doesn't matter, as you can see along the way. And also home sales, rising interest rates, home sales are still, they're showing peaks here and bond. But this is where the rates are in relation to home sales, except for the housing crash in 2006. This goes back to 1989, so we can see it doesn't really have an effect. And I don't know if somebody remembers when interest rates were double digits. I don't remember. My father used to tell me.
I used to tell you too.
And Stan used to tell me.
One thing I wanted to point out with the housing crash of 2006, that was, in my mind, a government-caused crash. And that's because they changed the rules of the game in mortgage lending to be more open-ended. You could literally get a guy on a street corner who was living out of a shopping cart basket could get a mortgage because they had these huge no-doc loans. Now, I'm going to try to condense this real easy. Banks do not hold these loans. They sell these mortgages to other people. So the banks act as kind of an agent for people who have money, who need investments and want to get returns. So they would package these mortgages up, maybe $2 million worth of mortgages made up of anywhere from a couple $100,000 to $50,000. They put it in there. And the idea was that in those mortgage pools, a certain percentage will go bad, but there was enough assets there that it would protect the investors' interest and they would get payments. Well, what happened was so many loans started going bankrupt because there was so many bad loans given out to people who had no business getting loans. They would buy a house, literally be able to stay in the house for 1 month, and then they couldn't afford it. So that is what precipitated this crash. So that's why it's so important to understand and not listen to politicians. You've got to talk, you've got to think about in common sense. If you open the mortgage to anybody who wants to get a mortgage, there's going to be failure there. It doesn't work that way. I often say to people, why are people coming from South America and trying to cross our border? They're all coming from progressive socialist governments who do that and nobody is happy there. So they're trying to come here. And yet at the same time, we have people in our government who want to create the same type of governments in South America. Makes no sense to me. Anyhow, just keep that in mind. Keep an eye out on who you're voting for. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, whatever it is. Try to stop voting for politicians, especially the one that's in office right now, who's a 50-year-old political person.
Okay. So what to expect in 2022? Forbearance have finally fallen below 1 million. Woohoo! And it's going to be a non-issue. I don't think you're going to hear much about it, but I want to educate you on this one. And just under 1 million, about 890,000 mortgages actively in forbearance. That's 1.6% of active mortgages. And we talked about how people's homes have appreciated an average of 57,000 last year. So the opportunity of people have opportunities to get out of foreclosure right now, which is kind of nice. So what's going to happen with foreclosures this year? They're going to be quite low, quite low. Now there's options for homeowners. Banks aren't in the posture now. They're not trying to foreclose on people. They're trying to work it out, which is really nice. So let's talk about prices then.
The reason why they're trying to work it out is because they know there's equity in these homes. There's increasing value in these homes.
Yeah, they know why go out of foreclosure when next week the house is going to be worth, say if you're out, usually these people aren't out that bad, maybe at 10,000 or 20,000, I find, in most of the lower homes. So at 20,000, might as well just wait 2 months. It'll be up 20,000. You're right, Stan. It's like, why just say, hey, just stay there for a couple more months. It's cheaper for them not to start the foreclosure process. They rather see people in their homes and happy. So what about prices? The other question is what's going to happen with prices? Have they peaked? Are they coming down? What's going on? I'm using this graph here to show these three companies, the FHFA, CoreLogic, S&P Case-Shiller, good companies to look at. Going back to January of 2021 and all the way through October and November of last year of pricing. So let me break this down, okay? Because the title here is Have Home Price Acceleration to Peak? Question mark. It's a question mark. So you can tell all your friends the question mark right now is that's the question. So the funny thing about this graph is we're starting at 10%. I've seen these graphs before, and they usually start at like 1%, 2%, but not at 10%. So we start the year at 10%. Did everybody get that? That's pretty amazing, right? 10%. Wow. It's historically high appreciation. We're rising every month. This measure of year over year. This is a year over year. So, so we look at last year compared to this year, and what did these prices grow by? And we know in 2020 they grew about 10%. Each month it goes on, and each month. So we said prices appear to look like they've peaked, and they do, but they really haven't. Or maybe have they plateaued? What's really happening here? And experts are wondering as well. No one really knows. But I only know, because we're boots on the ground, I only know that I just priced a house $30,000 higher than I did 3 months ago. And I believe that these prices are not depreciating. I mean, we might not appreciate at these numbers next year, but they're definitely not depreciating. Okay, that's the message to get out there to everybody you know, Dom, especially on the radio. Home prices are not depreciating.
One of the things I want to add as an investor who's been involved in commercial and those type of investments, we have a motto, and that is whatever the price is at that market, that's a good deal, and you make that deal. So, for example, back in the 80s, there was a real housing shortage because we were coming out of this period of stagflation and everything else and high interest rates, and the economy started turning around really great. So there was a huge demand for housing, and prices were literally changing once a week. I mean, you had open-ended listing contracts, but people would sell their home and they would walk away with dollars in their pocket. You can never look back on these things. So if you have to sell, now's the time to do it, because as this graph shows, it's starting at 10% increases off the bat.
Really go up from there, right?
So, if the question is, if you bought a house and you own a house and you have for $150,000 back 25 years ago, or $250,000, and it's now worth $550,000, you just made $400,000 on this deal. You know, as there's the old saying, greed will destroy you every time. So don't get too greedy.
Nope.
Enjoy the benefits that you've got.
Yeah. So, right. And that's what we're doing here, is showing people why it's such a great time to make that move. As home price or forecast. Now, these are a bunch of different companies I looked up. Fannie Mae is the top one, which I'm not surprised, and Freddie Mac. So they're kind of more in touch with the market than sometimes some of these economists, because they see it every day. But the average is 5.2%. I don't think we're going to go from 18% appreciation to 5% overnight. Do you? I certainly don't. So I think this is, these are just people sitting in chairs and not out in the market. They're not on boots on the ground. And I believe that these numbers are going to surprise. They're going to be surprised. Just no doubt appreciation is strong. We expect it to continue. If you look at these forecasting appreciation right now, 5.2, I think that's low. But in the graph, we need to realize that these graphs are showing cumulative numbers. We may see less appreciations than last year, you know, but this is basically cumulative numbers. You think about it as a car going down the road. You know, it's decelerating. If you don't put the, you know, if you're going down the road and you're not put the foot on the gas, you're decelerating, but you're still moving very fast. That's how I feel. Oops. So this is our last one. Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot to take in on just the last 30 minutes or so. We do have, for those of you who,
you want me to sum it up real quick, everything that you've
yeah,
said?
I'm going to come off the screen in a minute. But for those of you who are here and haven't had the book yet, we'll be sending it to you in the mail. But we are our second, what we're going to do now is just some question and answers. Stan will talk a little bit, I'll talk a little bit. And then we're going to go into part 2. It's just talking about like the actual home selling process. But don't forget about the book. Okay, Stan?
Let's see, we have a question that came up. Is this increase in prices throughout all housing levels? And the answer to that is the graphs that Diane was showing really, I believe, took an account of all housing that's being offered on the market.
Well,
So
I think with this seller, he's in the higher end area. It's with Spring Road. Stan, I looked up your property, got your number. And yes, so in the higher end properties, just talking about, he lived over by Cedarbrook. And those properties are increasing even more because they weren't even selling before. Now they're actually selling. So you're seeing it every level. Obviously, when you get over $1.5 million, the inventory is a little bit, it's a little bit more, but not much, because I have a buyer looking at about $1.5 million, and he's trying to sell $3 million to $1.5 million, and there's just nothing out there. So in your price range, is still very, very strong, Stanley. Go ahead, Stan.
that's Stanley is the person.
Stanley, he asked the question. Yeah. He asked the question. Yeah.
That was the question that was asked, and appreciate the question. Again, planning is very important. And as Dom talked about, the incremental process that Diane has done over the years. I mean, she's had people that have been involved with her seminars and been reaching out in communication for 5-6 years. And then they finally decide to do it. And then that becomes when you do that type of process, what it does is it totally alleviates a great deal of stress, because you know you have benchmarks to meet. And when that day comes for you're selling your house, you're starting to get rid of stuff, because one of the things is generally people downsize when they're selling their larger home. And therefore it gives them a chance to get rid of stuff, get the kids in there, to get rid of the stuff that they have stored in your house for 25 years. Just like Diane and I have. Well, we have a lot of stuff stored in our house, from kids, in-laws, nieces and nephews. In fact, we were thinking of having a big sale if they don't come out here, and we'll probably be able to afford the house for the next 20 years because the amount of stuff we have in this house. But any event, so the incremental process is always better. It's frustrating to me when people hire somebody who is just making phone calls, and they get a lead, and in 5 days they're there and they want to list your house, and you say, well, I want this for the house. And the person says, okay, I'm going to give you that price no matter what. I'll get you want it $1 million for your house. I'm going to get you. I'll list it for $1 million. Then 2 weeks later, they said, hey, we're not getting any offers. I'm going to lower it down to $500,000. So with this incremental process that Diane talks about, getting regular status on the value of your home on a regular value, you can actually see what's happening to values in your neighborhood. You'll be able to make informed decisions. And there's a famous quote by Confucius that says, an intelligent person is the one that asks questions. You're really not intelligent until you know you're ignorant. And our process is, Diane's process is to inform you so you're not arrogant, whatever that word is. I just pulled a Biden. I'm sorry.
It was a long train ride yesterday.
It was a long.
We actually took the auto train, and it was a long train ride, 17 and a half hours.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun. And we're still married. That's the amazing.
Yeah, and there's still a little room that we're. So this year is going to be a great year. 2022, another strong year. Albeit everything else going on with the market, higher interest rates might be coming, but still, we're actually reaching a 16-year high, I believe, in 2022. It's going to be a 16-year high, and across the country. It's not just happening in one area, but we need more inventory. So anybody looking to sell, who really could use your help in letting them know that the process of selling real estate. I think that people don't realize, it's a great market. I don't have to do anything to my house. But the more you do, if you paint that purple room, paint the wallpaper, take the wallpaper down, paint the little things you can do to make it more up to date, put granite in, stainless steel appliances. That's where you're going to make your money. It used to, like Bobby and I would say, you can get triple your money back. I'm saying now 6 or 7 times the amount by doing the little things that we tell people to do. I'll walk into a house and people say, well, I don't want to do any of that. The market's great. These other 2 realtors said I have to do anything. I said, well, fine. Okay. I can guarantee, though, that what I do will get more money than whatever the other agent tells you not to do.
In a little less street, I know Bobby's on mute, but Bobby's had personal experience in this area. Everything from, well, and Bobby, if you unmute yourself, you've actually changed kitchen knobs on kitchens. And it made the kitchen look like it was worth $5,000 more almost. And
yeah, because Bobby's my partner, he's my nephew. He also he handles a lot with the client getting the house on the market, because the contractors will show up when Bobby says to.
I'm like the foreman
Yeah.
of the job, especially for a few houses we had this year.
Right.
So just speaking on doing something, we had a house in Warminster. People lived there for 27 years and did nothing to update or really even maintain the house as well as they should have. And they went to Florida for 6 months to their house, Snowbirds, I think the term is. And they came back and found that their toilet's been leaking for those 6 months. They had a ton of water in their basement. They had water damage. They had a ton of mold, and it was just there was things that needed to get done just to bring the house to a standard level, not upgrading it, not redoing kitchens, not
acceptable
redoing
showing level. Or people didn't have to wear a mask because there's mold in the house.
Right, and this house also had stucco on a few sides that was bad. But they realized, and what they realized after meeting with Diane and I, that it was they did neglect the house. They recognized that, and they had funds to make these repairs. And by making these repairs, they were able, they spent a lot of money. It was a big house. They spent over $80,000, I think, in getting the house ready. But by doing that, they were able to sell the house for way hundreds of $1,000s more than what they would have if they just left the mold, they left the stucco, they left all the disrepairs of the house. It would have sold for probably less than $500,000, but they were able to sell it for $800,000 by just getting it to a level that was acceptable for the market. Not going over and above, not rehabbing the house, just getting it to an acceptable level for today's market by doing things that were necessary to people that would value, not, have a mold in the basement.
What happens is people take advantage, a buyer will take advantage of that situation because Bobby's seen it before. So by doing these things, and again, doing it in this incremental basis, doing these things, you take away that negotiations and the ability of people to say, well, we know that's only going to cost $5,000 to fix something. And these people come back and say, it's going to cost us $25,000 to do it. These are the type of arguments you do not want to get involved in. These are the type of things that add
Or at least have estimates for it. I mean, if you're not going to do it,
know what the costs are.
Know what the costs are. Know what your costs are.
And this is why you need to do it incrementally. Don, I think you wanted to ask a question there. You were looking like you had something on your mind to jump in on. Like,
what I was going to say is, Stan, I've found with listeners and people at seminars, it's this incrementalism thing is reassuring too. They feel as if they're making a step-by-step approach to where the goal is versus, again, some far-off goal with no time limit, nothing that's set. And Diane, when we've talked, some of them are remarkably simple, not like the home in disrepair. They're small things, but you have the expertise, your team, to know what grabs people and what works to magnify. It's curb appeal throughout the entire house. But I wanted to ask you too, we haven't talked in your spots recently a lot about the pictures, but I know you have a drone, you do all that type of stuff. And at certain times of the year, we talk about that. And the gap between a lot of real estate people and what you do as far as it's an online process now. The pictures of your home, it's amazing the difference.
Yeah, well, in my book, I talk specifically about that, and want to get a little bit more showing you the pictures next session, is that if your home looks beautiful, have you gone outside your home in the spring or summer? Because every home has flowers. Maybe there's flowers blooming in the spring and the summer. So whenever that is, you walk out, oh, my home looks beautiful. That's when you snap a shot. Stick that picture in your computer, because maybe you haven't hired me yet. Or maybe you have known about me and you just pick up the phone. Diane, come over right now. My house looks gorgeous. Snap a picture. I'm not going on the market though for a year. No problem. We're doing it for you. That's what this whole thing is about. And that's why when we put this house on the market 2 days ago in Cherry Hill, that shouldn't be selling for $380. I had priced it for $350. We took really good pictures of the outside of the home in, I think it was in September, October. And if I had waited, they'd be looking at, not snow today, but there's no leaves on the trees right now. It wouldn't have gotten that much of a bang. So when people see green, when it's gloomy outside and cold, and you see beautiful green pictures, you even want that house more. So that's the benefit of having pictures taken.
It's one of the ways to deflate the. It's one of the ways to deflate the home selling shark. Like the shark behind you is getting more and more deflated. It's getting more and more deflated.
The picture shark. We're going to be at
right.
I love sharks, but this is about fighting the home selling sharks. They're lurking in your home right now. This is the Home Shark Seminar. Yeah. And I have a book called Home Selling Sharks. Not only that, I have a list of sharks, over 200 of them. And for those of you who are listening and have a house that may not be on the perfect lot, there's the property lot shark is the most important one. And that's the most deadly one, which we're going to get into a little bit. And it's all over my book about the property lot shark. And I've done videos about it. And you get in a flood zone. I had a guy that has a house for sale. I didn't realize that his flood zone was going to affect the value. I have a historic home in the 1790s around the corner from us on the market. It's listed for $550. It should sell for $800, $750, but it's not. It's in that flood zone, the one that when we flood here, we can't get out where we live, because they live around the other side of the creek. And 3 feet of water in their house at Ida, 3 or 4 feet, 3 feet. Around the outside of the house, the water came up this high. So imagine that. Can't sell that house. Offers coming in a little bit lower, but we just can't sell that house because of the flood. So if you have a house like that, that's a big shark. You know, there's things you have to do. And so we posted videos on how to work the flood, all these different things, and we're getting a lot of traction on that. So
It
you
is
have to think very creatively.
It's a beautiful house.
Beautiful
And
house.
it's in a great setting. It really is. But this is
A couple
something.
times a year, you have to have a little bit of water, fish going through your living room.
And the thing about these people, they appreciate all the work that Diane has done
Yeah, they've been with me.
over the
I
years.
sold the house to them.
Over the years to get this house to be sold with all the problems, which they recognized when they bought it, but they just love their backyard. I mean, you're there and you don't hear anything. The creek's running through the backyard. I mean, it's so peaceful.
They have this flood thing down that soon the guys come right out. There's not one thing of mold in that house. It's amazing. Just 3 weeks later, the house just looks like new again. So they got it down. Any more questions from the peanut gallery? Or anything? So Dom, you have a lot to talk about Monday morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for the fodder.
No, so we
Particularly from
have,
Stan, yes.
I've got more fodder for you.
Yeah.
We'll have to have an argument though about a couple of things, but that's all right. You know, we can talk about it.
All right. I know what the area might be. Yes. Yeah.
Over a game of golf.
Oh, okay.
we have a golf simulator in the basement. You can come over.
You come over and practice.
Play the Manalani course in Hawaii.
Yeah, we're going to play in Hawaii today. This
Yeah.
afternoon, we're going to be playing the course in Manalani today.
You're leaving and going to be there that quickly? Yeah. Oh, no, you got your simulator. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. We just
Yeah,
go down
yeah.
there and program it
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So today we talked about recap inventory. So everybody, you know, if you're on this call, if you're watching this live on Facebook, give us a call, get a consultation, find out what your annual equity analysis report for your home. If you have a roof that's aging, a heater that's older, windows that are old, things that are big ticket items, you're going to lose that equity. Just put that money into your new place, into your new life. And that what we're going to do is, we found that the hardest thing it is for people to do is to get that phone, pick up the phone and come to the seminar, or pick up the phone and call a realtor. That's the hardest thing. You know, there was a couch company, I forget the name of it. They had these things online. You customize your own couch. You could pick the color and this and the pillow, whatever it is. And then when they would get to buying it, 75% would not buy. They wouldn't buy. And what happened was what the company did research. They found out that they didn't buy because they didn't want to have to worry about getting rid of the old couch. So when they put in there, we will take your old couch when we give you the new couch, 75% more, 25% didn't hit the button. They hit the button, they ordered it, and sales went skyrocketing. So it's the pain, guys. If you're on this listening, it's the pain of getting started. And what Don was saying, and Stan, incremental, we help you with that pain. We give you the contractors. I'm Italian, but we're all Italian here, most of us. And we have the contractors. We have contractors in our back pocket are going to show up, get the job done. We're not going to make you spend money on things we wouldn't tell. Yeah, somebody else will tell you not to do it because they're not us. They're not the professionals that are there who have done this. How many times? I've sold over 100 homes a year for years, 30 years in the business. So it's so important to call and just pick up the phone, even though it's a year or two from now. And just, I'm picking up the phone. We're going to make it painless, stress-free for you.
And I'll bring the whiteboard that I have in the back so we can figure it all out.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So if anybody would like to get some water or whatever, we're going to spend a couple minutes here getting ready for the next part. And Dom, anybody would like to talk to Dom, raise your hand. If you have a question for Dom, we're going to come on, we'll bring you on board. Anybody? I don't see any hands raising. I know it's nicer to meet you in person, but we didn't have our meet and greet on video. I think we're going to probably be like this for another couple times, I have a feeling. I don't think we're getting out much.
I plan on having one in Florida.
Yeah.
So if you we'll charter the plane, everybody can fly down and everybody will have a great time.
Yeah. But I think what I'll be doing is my monthly market updates on my Facebook page. So please check that out. And I'll be going live on YouTube. So I've been doing every week I've been doing some updates on the market from the gym. I wake up in the morning, I said, let me give the update. It's a good time for me to get it out. So check out my Facebook page. And I've been doing a lot of that. So Dom, anything left for you? We're going to get going.
It's always fun doing push-ups to marketing reports.
Yes.
Dom, one of the things in your position, you've interviewed so many people, and Dan does a real good job. Please let him know I appreciate what he does there. But do you see anything that you can offer in your many years of doing this, how the local political activity that we have, our local governments, how that affects the value of our particular neighborhoods? I know you live in Germantown. I'm sure you've seen different movements there. How does that affect you personally, being a longtime Philly person who has that, Texas accent?
Well, I would say in Philadelphia, I plead insanity to still be there. We talk about that all the time. And I don't see a whole lot happening there that's good. But I do see how political pressures, Stan, do work. For example, in Montgomery County, Valerie Arcouche was one of the proponents of lockdowns, school lockdowns, et cetera. But because she's running for statewide government, notice this time there's been a lot less pressure. So what we're seeing is, in the suburbs at least, enough forces, particularly with school boards. And we all know the quality of a school, the reputation of a school determines a lot of where people want to move, because they don't want to have to pay for private schools and they want a good education. So we're seeing school boards change, I think, a lot for the better, responding to parents. One of the big issues out there right now is who are the schools for? What about parental input? And they're becoming responsive to it. And in the suburbs, I see turnover for the good in places like Bucks County and somewhat in Montgomery County. So I'm optimistic about that. And I think Diane made this point several times now when we've done this. Due to COVID, we've seen people working from home, so they don't have to be close to work. We're seeing freedom as far as people moving. There are a lot of people living at the shore at this point because they like it and they can work from home. So it's a freeing type of thing so far. I'm optimistic going into 2022. But again, I come back to what I said at the beginning. The simple attention to detail, the type of thing of working with Diane and her team and Bobby over the course of a year, not only gets you more money, but it makes you feel that you're past just some abrupt big decision. You're gliding toward the goal point. And many, many listeners have told me that over the years. That is the single best thing that happens out of all this.
Good. Thank you. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Diane. Thanks, Dan.
We'll see you on the golf course. All right, talk to you.
Okay. All right. Enjoy your simulator today on the rounds. Yes. Thanks, guys.
Okay, we're going to start recording the second part now. And I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of how we sell homes. And if anybody has any questions, I know Stan and Dom are leaving us. I've got Stephanie here and Bobby with us.
If somebody needs to ask a question, they can email you, and I'll be glad to call.
Yeah, if anything, a question about appraisals or something like that, Stan will be more than happy. So thank you.
All right. See you later. See you, everybody. See you, Stephanie. See you, Bobby.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start recording. Okay, so let's get to the next part. This part is going to be called How to Fight the Home Selling Sharks. And I'm going to share, I'll try to share my screen. And it's going back to the other seminar. So we're going to go to seminar part 2, which is right here. And go here. And start the slideshow. Okay, everybody can see? Home selling sharks. Okay, sell your home in 26 days, guaranteed. Okay, so that's the idea, but we're not doing 26 days anymore. This is actually 2 hours. 2 hours. 2 hours of selling homes. And I have a little video about the history of the company. I just want to have you listen to, you'll understand a little bit more about who we are.
The vision that I had when I got into real estate has changed over the years. However, it's always been about creating wonderful experiences for home sellers and home buyers. But the vision is so much bigger than that. In 1954, my father started the first real estate company. It's called Untitled Realty, the corner of Susquehanna and Eastern Roads.
Everything is history with the real estate. He sold houses in Philadelphia. Then they decided to open another office. 2 realtors with the 2 builders. And that's how our history started.
My dad was in the real estate business before he got into the building business. And when their company was put together with the Colavitas and my father did the bulk of the sales there. Watching my father and listening to him how he sold homes, really helped me out and helped my sister out on how to handle people, how to be honest and getting the job done for them in the way they expected.
The relationships that Diane had with her father and I had with my father were really interesting, very similar in background. Diane used to go and help her dad in the real estate office and take people around to the sample homes that he used to construct for people.
My father would allow me to take people through the house and show them around. So at 5 years old, I was selling real estate. My father was just incredible. I noticed the passion that he had for real estate, where he would tell people exactly what they needed to do, even if it meant he would lose the sale or he wouldn't make as much money. And I feel that I bring that passion along with me to my real estate business. And that's why I'm so passionate about creating a wonderful experience and maximizing dollars for my clients. Stan, my husband, his father was a custom developer for commercial buildings. And Stan was doing real estate since he was 8 years old, going to meetings with his father.
And I'd be sitting outside, I guess maybe, I'll never forget this one gentleman was really, really upset about something. The gentleman went into my father's office and I heard him talking and I heard my father talking to him. And after about 15, 20 minutes, the gentleman came out with my father and he had his arms around my father and he was telling my father how much he appreciated him talking to him. And I go to my father after it was done. I said, Dad, I was really worried. What did you do? He said, I just sat there and listened and understood what was happening with this gentleman and how I could help him. Smiles, relationships, fulfilling the vision of your client.
Together, Stan and I are growing this masterpiece operation here in a community base because we've taken what they've built. All the ideas that they both had are now combined together with us.
We are actually that next generation of that relationships that our parents, our fathers had with their clients and their business. And we're just taking that into modern technology and finding those people who want to come along and jump on the train with us. Because it's not a train anymore, it's a rocket.
The vision that I Okay, so that was a little bit about the company and who we are, and a little bit about myself. I've been in real estate for 30 years, almost this coming May. It's next May, Century 21, and I went to RE/MAX, and I bought my own RE/MAX, and I bought my own company, and partnered with my nephew Bobby, and now we're managing brokers over at EXP, the global force. My father, as you know, was a real estate broker as well. So a little bit about us and what we are here, because we could just be anybody giving a seminar, but we're a real deal. So as we talked a lot today, starting earlier than you think is very important. The incremental things that you do along the way will help you be prepared for the market. And that is why you're here today. And that's why people are watching live on Zoom and on YouTube, and we'll be recording this so people can hear what we're doing and understand that starting earlier than you think is important, because you want to what? You want to crush the competition. Even if the market is great, if you differentiate yourself from other homes, like paint your garage and floor and walls and clean out your garage and clean out your basement and put things in storage and just paint or just do things and change the knobs on hardware if there are 1920 knobs to 2022 knobs. Do things like that to stand out. I want to go through some of those things today. You will crush the competition. You will sell your home for at least 10% more doing the things we ask you to do. Because ultimately, buyers will be lined up outside your door. I do have a couple that comes to most of our seminars that I don't think that we're going to be with us today, but they tell us a story about how buyers were lined up outside their door during I don't know, Bob, you've had an opportunity to text those guys if they can come on a little bit later, but I didn't do that today. So how do you hire a marketing? How do you know the right person to hire? So I used to go through like a long dissertation about this, but I believe that these are the five. These are the one thing I know you need to know is you need to hire a real estate marketing expert and someone who can negotiate, because there are the sharks out there. They're lurking in your home. You don't want to hire a realtor. You want someone who has a real estate license and they have a team behind them. And each team member supports the team leader of the company. And there's mistakes you can make when choosing a realtor. Sometimes people, they go right to a friend or family if they feel obligated. Great if that person is me or somebody who shows up like I do, but are they the right person? Interview a few people. Hire a real estate company with lots of signs on the lawn. Most of my business is by introductions, by referrals, or I do these seminars for the community, and I work with Dom and the radio. But lots of signs on the lawn doesn't mean that they're good at what they do. That just means they have a lot of agents working in those offices, and each agent's, only selling 4 homes a year. That's if you have about 200, 300 agents. That's why you take over the neighborhood, and you have lots of signs on the lawns. Do they have a lot of price reduced signs on the lawn? Is the question you want to ask. Hire a neighborhood real estate agent. We're global now. Neighborhoods out the door. You can look up any neighborhood on the internet and find out what's going on in their community in 5 minutes. Hire a real estate agent for the highest listing price. I believe Stan talked a little bit about that. Is walk in the door, hey, $1 million, no problem. And obviously it doesn't sell. Hire a real estate agent who discounts their fees. Right now, a lot of agents are discounting their fees. Now, we'll do it for 5%, or we'll do it for 4%, or do it for whatever percent. Well, if your home is a $500,000 house or $1 million house, you're talking about $5,000 or $10,000. But I believe that a good professional, someone who can negotiate, who can help you with staging and marketing, good negotiator, is going to get that money back for you and more. So it's not about the commission, it's about who you're hiring. But you'll ultimately get less, because you will get less for your house by not doing the things. You'll get 5 times less or 10 times less. We'll show you an example of somebody who we put how many thousands of dollars? I forget how much money, and they end up getting $50,000. I think it was $10,000 investment for a $50,000 or $60,000 change in price. That's pretty good. So fees aren't that important when unless you're getting into the higher price range, and we negotiate our fees with our client, and we're very reasonable. Hiring an internet-based company determines their success based on how many transactions they make and their conversion rates. If you're talking to a deal maker, that's not the person. That's actually, you should just really interview people before you even have them come over. That you should interview them. Like I interview my sellers before I walk in the door. So I want to make sure they're the right person for us. And I don't want to bring a client into the company that's not good for our team. And we want to make sure that the person can sell houses on the moon. But listen, what this is about is like, we sell houses anywhere. We're not specific to any neighborhood. I'm in Jersey, Pennsylvania, and I'm on the moon. So there you go. All right. So that's a little bit about shark number 1. And in our book, the Home Selling Sharks book, talks a little bit about that, about that. There's a whole chapter on realtors. So I don't want to spend too much time on that, because we're here now, and that's all that matters. So next, pre-home inspection. I had a video for you, but I didn't bring it up because I have somebody even better to tell you which is my nephew Bobby, about home inspections. And I'm not sure what if you know, but having a pre-home inspection allows you to know all the things that are wrong with the house before you know about them and the buyer knows about them, and then you've wasted thousands of dollars because the buyer might want the Ralph Lauren to come in and fix it versus somebody much less expensive. So Bob, do you want to take over this part since you're the master in getting these home inspections done?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. So, as Diane is saying about doing the pre-inspection, we've been doing these for probably over 20 years now. Before even I started, Diane was doing these. So, we have the experience in knowing how to utilize this pre-inspection to your advantage, aka zero cost repair. So when we even come out to the house, we're looking for things that might come up in a home inspection. So we can kind of take that into an account when it comes into pricing your home, that we know something that's going to come up on the inspection, and we can account for that ahead of time. So there's a few key factors you want to take note of is when to do the inspection report. So if you have, for example, if you know of an issue or an old issue that you had previously, for example, having a water stain in your basement ceiling from a toilet leak, and the stain's still there, problem's fixed, but you never painted it. When you do the inspection, they're going to note, oh, there could be a possible leak here. So that'd be something that you want to paint or address before doing the inspection. Now, there's a few scenarios of when you want to do it. Ideally, we want to do it closer to when we're going on the market, so our report is relevant. So as I said earlier, if we know something that's going to come up on the report, Diane and I might ask you to say, let's take a look at addressing this, or at least get a cost of what it would cost to repair it, so we know that ahead of time, and we can factor that into our pricing. So we want to do it closer to when we go on the market. Now, there might be a case where, all right, we've seen a few issues and you're 2-3 years out from going on the market. You might want to do one now so you can work on addressing these repairs before you go on the market in 2 to 3 years. So that'd be the timing. So, if you know there's going to be a lot of issues and you're a few years out, do it now so you can slowly work on them, and we can give you the advice around that. Or we're doing it closer when we go on the market, so we have relevance and time for the report to going on the market. Next is what to fix. The 3 biggest things that come up for home buyers are electrical items, water, whether it's exterior or interior leaks, and hazards like structure or mold or something along those lines. So those are the 3 things in any report that we do that that'll be the advice typically that we give you to address is around those 3 things: electrical, water, and hazards. Now, there might be something for different townships, what there's called use and occupancy or CO in Jersey, and every township's different. They might require certain things. For example, Springfield and Warminster here in Pennsylvania, they require your curbs to be fixed. So that'd be something that we would look at again ahead of time, but not necessarily something that, if you have one single crack in your curb, as far as the inspection goes, not overly concerning, but if you're in that township, it's going to be something that we have to take a look at doing. So it's, just having awareness around those items and what could be major concerns for buyers and for township requirements.
And also the apron, a lot of people have their apron and their
driveway. So there's also what we could do by knowing these things. We might hold something for negotiating. So, Mr. Buyer, we'll take a look at this, addressing this for you at this number, or we can come back and say, if you meet this number, we'll do this thing for you. So there's some things that we can hold as negotiating. So the point is that to have zero cost repair, just to know about these things ahead of time and then price the house accordingly. So now we can say, Mr. Buyer, here's the report. We're doing A, B, and C for you. We're not doing anything else. The house is priced accordingly, knowing these things are wrong with this property. So that in essence is zero cost repairs. So yes, you're paying for it, but we're making it up on the back end for pricing and negotiating for Diane and I. So it's about, and all this inspection report is about making the buyer feel comfortable they're not buying a lemon. They're, or a money pit, right? So we want the buyer to feel comfortable. It's like getting a Carfax report for your house. You're going to go buy a used car. Excuse me. You're going to want a Carfax report to know the history of what happened. And same thing for your house. You want to make sure you're doing your due diligence. So you're providing something that a buyer is going to feel comfortable with living in your house. So, excuse me. In the next slide, I have an example we had earlier this year of a younger couple. They had a very well kept, nice house, townhome in Conshohocken. And they didn't want to do a report. They were okay with addressing things as they came along. It's the traditional way of selling a house and doing the inspection. They were okay with that. We advised them differently, but this is how they wanted to do. So we put the house in the market. We wound up selling, I think, for like $25,000 over asking price. But the buyers wanted to do an inspection because there was not one done previously. We had multiple offers and all of them wanted to do an inspection. So this buyer, they did their inspection. They waited over a week to get back to us, and we found out later why. They had come back with, versus just walking away, they had the audacity to ask for $125,000 credit for repairs that came up in the inspection. Now, this house, Diane, if you want to go to the next slide, had stucco on two sides. It's a townhome, had stucco on two sides. And they were okay with, if something came up, they would look at repairing the stucco issue. Now, this buyer came in, and since there was an issue around a few windows, they wanted all of the stucco removed around the whole house, re-stuccoed. They wanted all the windows replaced because they were older, and two of them had a broken seal where your window gets foggy. They wanted all the windows replaced because they might go bad later. And they wanted a new heating system because it was older, functioning, but older, and which was already disclosed to them on the disclosure. They wanted a brand new heating system as well. And they used their contractors, which I think the stucco was over 80,000 of that 120, which is just ridiculous for this size house.
Yeah.
And that they wanted that much of a credit, all because on all of that could have been prevented if we just did the pre-inspection. Yes, we knew about stucco. We could have found out the severity of it. We could have got pricing for fixing it, which we did after the fact because we're going to put the house back on the market. Wound up being that all of what they asked for could have been done for $16,000, and we could have adjusted that in the price. And this guy wanted $125,000 credit for these things because of things that might come up of being an issue later, or not just repairing. They want everything redone when it was not necessary to address the issue with the stucco. So if anyone does have stucco, there's different levels of it. If you're built in the late 90s, early 2000s, 90% chance there's going to be some sort of issue. But it doesn't mean you have to tear down all your stucco. There could be other ways of repairing it. It's just getting out ahead of it. So we're not being slammed with $100,000 credit for a $400,000 house. It's just outrageous. As you can see, the house was meticulous, like very, very well kept. And that was just completely could have been avoided by just doing a pre-inspection in this case. So very, very important to do this. It gives us negotiating power to support the price that you want to get or more in this market. And the reason why it's even more important right now, and Diane, you can go to our list. We do have qualified contractors from concrete, AC, heater, Diane's favorite, the dumpster, get all the stuff out. We have all these people at the ready to help you out who've been vetted, and most have been working with us for years now. and they show up. That's a big part of contractors is showing up. People are busy right now. Contractors are busy. People are doing, their home and wanting to do repairs to their house. So, contractors are busy. So it's about, making sure you have good qualified people to help you. And that's all could be found on cardanoslist.com, very easy, available for you to get. So the reason why this pre-inspection is so important right now in today's market is because it's so competitive. People are waiving home inspections just to get into a house because they put in 8 other offers and lost them all, and they want to get into a house, and they're doing everything that they can to get into a house, which includes waiving home inspections. And what's happening is, after the fact, they move in and they're finding issues over issues over issues that they felt as the buyer should have been disclosed to them ahead of time, that they think the seller might have known about. So this is leading to an increase in mediation of sellers, or buyers rather, going after sellers for non-disclosure of potential issues that they're finding after they move into the house. So, they're coming back after the fact and coming after you as the seller for not properly disclosing because of the way the market is right now. And this buyer is waiving an inspection just to get into your property. So, to have that protection up front is worth thousands of dollars to you. And Diane proves that in negotiating.
Negotiating. So negotiating, and also when, especially in this market where buyers are expected to waive the inspection, that when there is one, it makes them feel putting that extra 10 or 15 or 20,000 down more on a house. If I'm pushing, I'm a negotiator, I keep pushing. Can I do more? Can I do more? They'll do it because they feel better about buying it. It's a warm feeling they feel about buying your home because you've done the inspection. You've gone through that. You've looked at the repairs. You've got people in the door. You said you would do these certain things, and you're not doing this. You're totally upfront. All the cards are on the table. And yes, it's negotiating it's wow. It just brings everybody up another level of a good feeling. Because as we all know, when you feel good about something, you'll pay whatever it is that you need to pay to get it, especially when you've lost, like Bobby said, 8 or 9 deals. You're at the point where of no return, and you don't want them coming back to you afterwards because maybe you didn't know these things. Right. So home inspections is the second shark. Is very important, having that inspection. So I think we beat that one up pretty good. And the book goes over a lot of examples as well. Okay, so next we talk about photos. So in the photo showcase, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. I'm going to show you some houses and pictures and all pretty stuff and bad stuff to show you why you don't want to wait till winter to take your pictures of your home on the outside unless you have to. We can work around that as well, especially if you have some of your own pictures. So it's really important when selling a house in this particular example of shark called photo showcase. Photo shark is very important. Professional photography is so important. Not to have your quote unquote professional realtor have their cell phone out taking pictures. I know a lot of the new cell phones have 3D and this, that, but nothing like you could do with professional photography. We could take things out. Maybe you had a brown spot in your ground. You can take things out of a picture. Just things you can do more when you have a professional behind it. First showing is online. Okay. You must have this camera, like the wide angle lens. Professional software program. So our photographer comes to the house, doesn't give you the disc. Most of them take the disc out of the back. Here it is, the pictures. He enhances them. He enhances the photos before he gives them to us. So not giving you photos that are dreary. And if it's a cloudy day, which we don't like doing, but if we have to, he put a blue sky on the back and it looks beautiful. Getting pictures from the best angles. So most realtors allow if they have a professional, go out and do it themselves. But we're making sure that they're there. We're there with them. And we remove stuff out of the photos and put them back. This way it's not in the photo. It's like fake it till you make it. because we call them fake stage rooms. We'll get into that in a little bit. Use creative photography. Keep those sharks away. Use aerial, because when you have 4 or 5 aerial pictures of your home online, they will definitely click to that 5th picture. So they want to see the inside. When we post homes coming soon, we don't post the inside of the home. We post the outside, because then they want to know what's inside, and they text us or they call us and say, when are you going to have interior photos up? And then we know there's a lot of interest. So photography of, especially the outside photos, are so important during that 21-day period before your home goes on the market, where we can analyze the demand for your home, because the more eyeballs, the more footsteps. And maybe we need to increase the price. Who knows? A drone picture gives you a better view of the house, the surroundings. It makes you feel good as a buyer, thinking you're going to have, oh, that's my house. Picking out the best features of the home. And this particular home was in a cul-de-sac. It just happened to be snowing, but still we were able to show the area. And this particular home was, didn't have much of a backyard, so we made it to front yard picture. And now that was a little bit about the drone. So now we're going to talk about exterior photo cases. Does anybody have any questions about interior photos? Please put it in the chat room, and that would be good. So the exterior photos, let's talk about the photos on the outside. There's 2 kinds. There's the drone, which we talked about, and there's also ground pictures. So there's times of the year when you want to take photos, and there's times where you don't. I would say this is probably a bad time, but if it's the only time, and say, oh, how pretty that looks, but great. But if you had just called us ahead of time or taken a picture of your house or read my book, you would have taken pictures of your home when it looked great on its outside. And that's the one tip photos. Get some fabulous pictures of the outside of your home and store them in your computer, or let us come out with our professional. Another bad picture. Now, this is a bad angle, because you never want to take a picture straight on. Like when you go to a photographer, they always take it from one side or the other, right? So this is a picture straight on, and not a good picture for this particular house when it had a nice, beautiful side yard. This is a nice picture. This is fall. They called us in the fall, and we took pictures. So now when I sold this house in February of that year, we were able to showcase a home with beautiful pictures on the outside. Again, this one backs up to a golf course. You don't get that golf course feeling when you just take round pictures. Very important, have drone. This particular home was on 10 acres, and these are all 10-acre parcels in Plumstead. And this showed how the property was pretty far from properties nearby, and also in the back. And it was really nice. It had a little horse farm. This picture of a house we took this way because it was on a hill. And looking at and taking a picture here, you don't get the hill effect. People don't like living on a house on a hill. Actually, your home will sell for less money when you have that property shark called "My home is on a hill." So taking it from this angle, I don't want people to know it until they got there. That's how we fixed that one. Photo showcase for, this is a nice corner lot. And because it was a corner lot, most corner lots aren't that great. That is a shark, property lot shark, having a corner lot. Because there's really no backyard, and you have like Bobby was saying, sidewalk. Look at all that sidewalk you'd have to fix if you're in the township that requires that. It's a lot of sidewalk. So it's best to live in a home or sell a home on a property lot that's not on a corner. And this shows from this angle that it does have a nice yard. The best angle to show when, showing that property, showing it off. It's a property in Brigantine, a nice showing the views, the casino and the bay views, another great view you can't get by taking a picture. Like if you just took the outside of that house, just think of it, just be pretty awful. I mean, just if there's a land of one, they're all the same. This is a unique picture. This is about attracting your audience. Who's your audience? People who would like to live in a condo or a townhouse, but yet they want that view. That gets you right from the beginning. Another beautiful house on a nice big lot. showing the how big it is in the back, although it wasn't all their ground, but it looked like it was from this picture. So again, fake it till you make it. Get them in the door. Get their eyeballs. Eyeballs equal foot traffic. As you know, foot traffic is up, but it's even better for your individual home. You don't care about foot traffic for the other homes, but your home, you want that to be high. This particular property looks better. Now, if we could have taken a drone, a ground view of this one, but believe me, this house looks much better and bigger from the air. This was taken with the drone. I always have my photographer take one about second floor up. And it's a great view of the property. And it's just a better feeling when you look at this picture. You want to click on the next. The idea of pictures on the outside is to get them to click at least 3 or 4 times, because studies show that once you get them moving your finger 1, 2 times, they will go 3, 4, and they'll go to all the pictures. The idea is to get them through the whole house. Nice pool picture. We got this and we got this one, I think it was in the fall for spring sale. Can't remember. But then we have, so that was exterior photos. So anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Interior photos. So does this person live here? Is that the question? I bet your first question is, does this person live here? Well, yeah, they live here, but we took everything off the counter because we wanted to show off the new backsplash they just put on. Okay, and how big. So if you had stuff hanging around, the first thing you would see is their stuff. You wouldn't see the countertop. You wouldn't see the backsplash. You wouldn't see the depth of the room going into the sunrooms. That was an addition in the back. You wouldn't see those things. So the idea of interior pictures is to delete or move out of the picture as many things as possible that take your eye up. Like for here, there was a big thing right here and stuff all over the place. We just took this out and we wanted to show the beautiful entry. Another picture of a big house, and left a couple things out because it was so big. But if you look at here, I wanted to show you how something on the counter takes up your eye. Right away, if you look over to kitchen right here, first thing you see is this rooster. So we showed this one should not have been there, because if it wasn't, we would be able to see past that. But do you see how it just takes up your vision? That's why you don't have things on the countertop that are high or anywhere. Even this plant back here, all of a sudden, what's that doing there? It takes away from the whole view. And that's why I don't want things on the counters. Nice picture of that one house, I think was the outside picture earlier. Took everything out. This is full of stuff before. Here's a house that was an investment property. We painted the cabinets. They were brown and we painted them beige. This one we're using the color beige. Now we're using Riviera Pewter as our color. This is a Galley Kitchen. Wow, it looks big, but that's a nice picture of a wide angle lens. Our photographer did a great job here in making this look like a big kitchen. Right about, I was like half the size. So showing the depth. What I like about using a wide angle lens is it shows the depth. So it shows how deep the property is down and makes it feel really big, much bigger than, you think. This is the farmhouse that we saw on that Tanker farm. Inside, they have this big rug here. You can actually see it right here, a little darker, this floor than it is over here. So we took the rug up, and boy, this room opened up. That was great. So rugs on the floor aren't certainly really good. If you have really nice floors, you want to show them. Okay, so that's a little bit of interior pictures. And this is going to happen tomorrow. This is why it's incremental. The next part we're going to talk about, and I ended it again, is basically, here's what we did. And we do it over and over and again, is we take properties and we take them from here to there and making our sellers so much money. When properties would expire off the market, they wouldn't sell. And I've taken several properties, many. I started my career working with home sellers that didn't sell their home because it expired with the current realtor. So here's one at 933 Vital Road, and sold it 2 days after being on the market 6 months with the traditional realtor, didn't do anything we did. So I'm going to show you pictures of what they were doing and their pictures, and then you show you ours so you understand the difference. This picture of theirs was, this is their first picture, and kind of a little dark, didn't do much for me. And then this is the second picture. I think this might have even been the first picture. Oh, this is a $500,000 house in Bridal. Why would you take it straight on? It looks like it's so small. Oh, and they still left the reef on the door. Well, this is what our pictures, this is our first picture, is the outside, the drone picture. And what are you going to want to do? You want to look again. There's a lot of people didn't like that long driveway or going in the back, and they weren't sure what the house looked like. So that they would click on the next one, they would see, oh, that's the house. So we took it further back on a much sunnier day, and look at the difference. It actually showed the driveway going down in the back in the play set, where their picture started right here and looking up, and it was much darker. It's inviting. This picture is of the side of the house. They took this picture and used it for their marketing. And what it did is it showed a negative, that the siding was green. Green is not a great exterior color for a home in today's market. So this could have definitely took eyeballs and said, nope, I'm not walking through the door. I have the eyeball on the property, but I'm not making a showing request. What we decided to do is take it from this side. The green kind of blends in with the green. All you see is the brick. Couldn't get the car out of the driveway because it was, battery was dead and the seller was away. But this shows a little bit better picture of this house versus one they used. In the inside, this is their first picture. You might say, oh, it's not bad. But they have this hanging here, which does nothing. This rug over here, these doors are closed. How would you close the door in a picture? You want to see depth. And this rug over here. Here's what we did to make these pictures a little bit more inviting. We took it from this angle, got rid of this, and opened up the doors, changed the carpet, and put actually a table in here. Okay, we took a carpet from somewhere else and put it here. We just took things around. We used what you have. And it shows the depth here now when you walk through the door. That's an inviting picture. Here's their picture. It's dark. There's stuff on the table. There's stuff on the countertop. There's stuff all over the countertop. This big plant in the middle. You can't see anything. And the doors are closed. So this is not an inviting picture. It shows that this property needs work and it's cluttered and the people aren't ready to move. Here's what we did. Yes, it went from here, same house, to there, took stuff off the table. It was a glass table. I love glass tables. So you can look through and see through the table to what's behind it. Everything off the countertop, except for the coffee maker, which is fine. And it opened the door, showing the door out to the deck as an inviting, come outside. And also it made the picture much deeper and easier to look at and inviting. And that was our picture versus their picture. This is their picture of the family room. This pink carpet, left the guitar out and maybe thought that was kind of cool. And that table back there, that's the one we moved into the dining room. Here's what we did to this picture. We took out the pink rug, the guitar, took out the table, and made it a little less pink. And now you can see the room. So it went from here to there. Which one's more inviting? I think this one. And the basement. You say, that's not a bad basement picture. What's wrong with this one? Well, it's a little bit close in. They didn't use the wide angle lens. Look at ours. We actually set a little table up here to show these awesome barn doors and a little workout area and show that the door opened to the bathroom versus here. There, that's better. So what do you think about that? Anybody have any questions? Put in the chat, raise your hand. Bobby's looking at the participants, making sure everybody is raising their hand. Okay, great. Next, 2000 Acorn Place, Huntington Valley. This is a real interesting one. We sold this in 3 days after being on the market 6 months with the traditional realtor. Check out the difference here. You'll be like, wow. And it only cost her, I think, $3,200 or something for Roxanne. This is their outside picture of the home. It's a dreary day. So this is taken with a cell phone, you can tell, and there's no attempt to put blue sky in the clouds. Oh, no clouds, I put a blue sky. This is their second picture of the same house. And I want to let you know that this home was listed in, I think, March. They took pictures. They had this listing all throughout the summer. And they did not come back and take additional new pictures of the outside when it looks best when it's outside, which is, they had it during the spring. They could have taken pictures when it was summertime to enhance the photos. All they did was kept dropping and dropping and dropping the price. I don't know what this picture was, but it doesn't do anything for me. Now here's another picture they put on there, okay? It's not inviting. I don't think it got many eyeballs. Here is our first picture. Beautiful aerial shot. Now, it is a corner lot, which isn't the best, and not a township that makes you fix the sidewalks. It was in Upper Moreland. So they don't have a sidewalk ordinance, which is good. And this shows a beautiful walkway, depth of the backyard. It shows the addition on the side. And then this way, this is the side to take a picture for this house. The right side was much more photogenic, as you would say, than the left side of the house. And then I thought this would be a great picture, taking it right from the porch, looking out, imagining yourself, and the buyer could imagine themselves looking out while they're hanging out and relaxing on their front porch. So it's a really nice picture. So pictures should tell a story, an emotional story of the buyer who's going to be living there. They feel they want to live there, and then they make an appointment. They see pictures, they feel it, they make an appointment. That's how it works. Now, this is the picture of the kitchen. When they listed the property, they failed to put all the shades up, and that's important to do when you're listing a home. And they put the pillows on here and some things on the counter. And it was a little dark to me. Here's our picture of the same room, much brighter. Shades are basically all the way up. A couple pictures, a couple pillows left there, and real bright. And it took the whole depth, floor too. The other picture was taken with a cell phone. Next picture. This is the picture of the inside of the home. When the realtor had it, they left the drapes closed, and they didn't suggest to the seller to take these drapes down because this is showing an older home, as well as wallpaper on the walls. Dark. This is the death to any listing. Dark trim is the death of any listing, and not the white trim. So what we did is we had our painter come in, paint the room, take off the curtains, which aren't really today's world, and paint it the trim white and all the doors. Now, which picture do you feel is more marketable? This picture or that picture? Of course, this picture. Next is the dining room. Yes, the paperwork, the wallpaper continued, as well as the drapery and balances. And we said, well, let's do this room too. And let's show you what that looked like. One, having a tablecloth on the table, take it off and take these off. Take chairs out of the corner. These are all our staging tips. Okay, no tablecloth. That looks a heck of a lot better. And also showed a little bit, this picture is actually a little wider than, it showed more in going into the kitchen. It showed how it went into the kitchen. This is a picture they took of the bonus room, which is a fourth bedroom. It didn't have a basement. And that's it. Where we said, let's paint that blue, make a deeper picture and show it. This is a full bath here. That made this house have an extra bath. So it's like 3.5 baths. And that much better picture than this. So this didn't bring people in. All the stuff was here, the cords, the computers, and we made it that. She started packing. She didn't realize she was supposed to start packing. Nobody told her. Start packing, you're moving. This is the bedroom in the same house. Wallpaper, as you can see. We just took the balances off, painted the room, painted the trim, and this is what it looked like. So that dark, flimsy to this. More eyeballs will come to your property if you list it like this. That was a great property. So does anybody have any questions? Put in the chat. Next is 505 Hunters Lane, Glenside. Sold in one day. I negotiated $29,000 over the list price. This is the one we told you that we actually gave her our marketing dollars. We gave money to the seller to fix it up. We gave him $10,000 and we got $29,000 over list price. But if she didn't do any of this work, she would have gotten maybe $250 because there was mold and stuff in the basement. Let's show you. It wasn't an ideal house, and it was in Springfield Township. They do have a curb ordinance, and it is a corner lot, a lot of curbs. If this would have had been done, this would probably be about, I don't know, $15,000. What do you think? $12,000, $15,000, at least $10,000.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
Somewhere in that range.
All the way around.
I don't think she had that problem, but if she did, it would be a problem.
She didn't actually.
No, I don't think she had any ordinances. So this has a property lot, Shark. It's a corner lot with no backyard, but she had an amazing side yard. So this property was never listed before, but they had an agent who's going to list it, and they're going to list it for $250. And I said, wait, now we can list it for $280 if we put $10,000 into it, and maybe I can get you more. Here's what we did. But on the right is the bathroom finished. On the left is the bathroom before we did our work to it. We still have one of those laminated floors, paint the walls, put a new toilet and vanity in there. It's not that expensive. This is what the basement looked like. The two sides of the basement. It's a huge basement. It's a full basement. A whole downstairs that nobody could use because there was mold. You can see over here, look, there's water here. It smelled. It was very, very bad. We changed it, and now it looked like this. Voila. Would you be attracted to this or this? Okay, obviously this. This is the other side of the basement. It's a great room for a playroom or something, but look at it. It's a mess. The seller said, I never go down to the basement. Okay, great. Well, this is what it looks like. So the picture says, oh, well, this is not good. I mean, she did go down and do the wash here and there, but the door was always closed here. She never walked on this side of the basement. We changed it and looked like that. Yes, this could be a dance studio. It could be an office. It could be a playroom. It could be so much. Wow. It went from this to that. This is just for $10,000. $10,000 that we lent our seller so she could make an additional, say, $60,000. Because this house with this kind of mold and this stuff in the house going on would not have sold unless we did this to that. It would have sold for so much less. So everybody get that? Good. So now we're going to talk about before and after photo video showcase. Here's a house, a before picture. The house we took over. It was on the market for 3 years. I think we sold it in like 24 days or something. Yeah, on the market for 3 years, sold it 22 days, and she spent $3,500 painting. That's it. I mean, I physically went over there. They were in Florida to help take stuff out of their basement and physically put it into storage and into the dumpster for them. And this is the difference from here to there. Wow. Here's a before picture of a house I took over. This is the old picture. Drapes were closed, dingy. It was taken with a cell phone. We painted it, put the drapes back, took stuff off the counter and everything. A much better photographer. And after 1 year at Berkshire, they overpriced and had a price for due sign along. Sold in 19 days. After 1 year, 19 days. And they were from a philosophy of don't do anything until the house sells, then I'll start packing. That's not the philosophy, guys. That's why you start now for a year into it. You're 2 years into it. Start doing little things now. Get each room separately. Work on one project at a time. Here's a property sold 19 days after 1 year with another Berkshire agent. They overpriced and had a price reduced sign on the lawn. Oof. So here's a picture of the of this house. I don't know why the other after. I don't know if this is the after. This is our picture. Their picture was they didn't even. Oh yeah, that was right. They didn't even showcase this picture. It's the best room in the house. This is one of those pictures. This house was on the same driveway as that other one I was showing you. Just an example. Family room before staging. That just kind of looks like my room. Family room after staging. Just took 15 minutes for us to go in, move everything into the dining room, and move it back. That's called a fake stage room. Now we can post not only inside pictures, outside pictures of the house, but inside. If you fake stage a room. Here's a picture, living room before staging. We got to work and got it all cleared out for them. He went away, came back, his home was sold. All he had to do was come to settlement and sign some papers before settlement, actually. Our sellers don't have to go to settlement because we go for them. Kitchen before staging, dark wood, stuff all over the place, cabinet missing, drawer missing. Voila, fixed it up. Some paint will do to any house. Paint goes wonders, and it's not that expensive. This particular house, by the way, had the next picture I'm going to show you, the improvements that sell. This is one of the improvements. So now we're going to talk about improvements that sell in our video and photo showcase. Improvements that sell are taking the panel or the trim and making it white if it was dark. I showed you that already. Showing the color differential is very important. Garage is really, really important. I'll take a home that expired and all I'll do is fix up the garage, clean it out, make it look good, paint the floor, the walls, organize everything. And this is a garage after we stage it. Wow, we could walk in there and feel comfortable. God, the cellar was this neat and clean. I can't imagine how they well kept they had and maintained the home. A basement after staging, cleaned out, painted, looks real nice. Or a garage before staging, a garage after. People always ask me, what happened with the car? I'm not sure. But the difference between a garage, I'm sure some of you are laughing now that your garage looks like that too. And now it could look like this with just some paint. And this takes a little bit of preparation doing the inside of the garage, because in the wintertime we could bring heaters in. It's better to do it from April to October, November. This year it was pretty warm out. Here's the garage, the basement before staging. This basement was, I believe, the one from that house I was showing you. And now this is after, yeah. So it can look from here, moldy. We have a basement, just this Cherry Hill house going on the market. We could show you some before and afters. You'd be like, wow, of a basement. That house, amazing. Just with some paint. Okay, anybody have these doors? A lot of houses in Philadelphia, and those twins and over there in 19111, 155, 156, 152 have these dark doors. A lot of them have switched them out already, but getting the 6-panel or the 2-panel doors are so in. Brownwood doors are definitely looking like this would be much better to selling your home. This looks like you really haven't taken time to spend $20, $40 on a door and just replace the door and some knobs. That's all it takes. 6 or 2-panel doors are now more popular. And here too, it's like you're paneling on the walls. This property wasn't selling. It was just dark. You have paneling, guys. I mean, I don't get that much anymore, Bob. I don't get the paneling, but it could look better.
A lot less of it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't get too much of it anymore. But this used to be, and that's what it is. So that's a little bit more of things that sell. And then we don't have the video, I don't think, right now. The video came, I don't know, it won't be playing, it's not playing. So this is just a video of a neighborhood that we took. Now, the reason why I want to talk about that neighborhood video is because we got an idea we would get this listing almost a year in advance. So we were able to go out and take a beautiful video of the whole development. It was a high-end development. And it really made a difference because in April, for only 2 or 3 weeks, the street is lined with cherry trees and they blossom, for only a few weeks. So we were able to time it and took this beautiful video. I have to get it back up. It was a beautiful video, just letting you know, the more in advance you let us know you're going on the market, the more we can market your home and accentuate all the beautiful possibilities that a new buyer can enjoy when they buy your home. Room by room review is the shark number 4, because this is where it all starts. And you pick up the phone to give us a call. We come over and just do an idea, like here's what your home could have. Here's what we could do, make a list. It's called a room by room review. I do have a video for that, but I didn't play it again today, so I want to take up your time watching videos where I can explain to you real quick how to do this. A room by room review is a way where we give you, like I said, 101 quick and easy tips to make your house show like a model home. And we come through and we give you an idea of what you could be doing to your property and give you a list. And then once you contract with us, we help you through that list with our contractors. So in order to do it, we call it advanced real estate consulting. First thing to do is meet with your consultant, hopefully me, design a specific detailed strategic plan, at least a year in advance, maybe 6 months. But if you don't at least give us the time to show you what we could do, you don't give your house an opportunity to sell for more money. Your home cannot sell for you and do what the home is supposed to do for you if you don't think in advance, because you can't go back. You can't go back. If there's things you should be doing 6 months before you sell, that if you wait till 2 months before, you'll lose that opportunity to do all the things that you could have done to sell your home. And as you're doing your room by room review and you're meeting with your consultant, you're going to have a basic staging strategy with your consultant. You're going to get your home inspection done. You're going to, then, and only then, are you going to get estimates for all suggested repairs. You're not doing any repairs. We're gathering information. This part is about the incremental things. Just get information, gather the information, and then once you have it, don't commit to doing anything until you know what the repair is going to cost. Then we can give you our advice on what to do. Like Bobby was saying, these are the things you have to do. Let us help you with that. Now, if you're going to do it yourself and get your own home inspection, we've looked at thousands of home inspection reports and know how it turns out on the other end with a sale. The amount of experience we have in this particular area is alone will get you an extra 2 or 3%. So all these strategies, it's not just one thing. It's a little bit of everything. 2% more here, 2% more for doing this, 5% more. It's a little bit, it's 2% increments along the way to get you that 10% more, up to 10% more. And then you invite the contractors to your home after you create a timeline. So the contractors are busy. We need time. Right now, they're not as busy. So if you're thinking about painting, get our painter contractor appointment for February. Get them on the list. Get on the list for our contractors, and they will show up. Okay, very important. They need to show up in order for this to happen. So that is the room by room review. And the idea is to have that now. Marketing and website syndicating, shark number 5, syndication. So it's a shark. Why is it a shark? Because if you don't do it and you don't get your home out on thousands of websites, your home will not get the eyeballs needed to sell. What's the idea of marketing anyway? It's to attract buyers, right? You don't want to scare them away. Like some of those pictures of the houses we showed you, those pictures were scaring buyers away. They weren't getting the eyeballs. But understanding who your target market is, the buyer that will be the most interested in your home, how to attract them. What do you need to say in the copy that's going to attract your target market to get their eyes, to get their little feetsies inside your home, get them waiting outside the door, to get them to read your home inspection report and your seller's disclosure, to get them to wait in line, to get them to put an offer in $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 over list price. This is who we're targeting. We're not targeting everybody. If you notice, most of the real estate agents, they target in their copy every buyer out there. But that's not the key. The key is, and people don't understand, the market doesn't understand, and sellers don't know about this at all. The copy, they call it in AdWords, things we can put in Google that will attract them to get them to click on your home versus somebody else's home. Because you want your house to rank high on all search engines, especially with being with EXP right now. We are the highest we can get. We have the #1 traffic for listings. And we also have our Zillow. Our Zillow is Zillow coming soon. It's very good, and it helps us get out there. Because the traditional realtor, I don't think right now, but they're still doing some print advertising. They put a sold sign or for sale sign, maybe put it in a newspaper or magazine or something, and then they go on the MLS and they go on one website. That's traditional. Their company's website, because a lot of realtors don't even have websites. They're making it so easy. You can buy a website for like $40 a month as a realtor, and people just aren't investing $40 a month in their business. Do you want some, you want to know and work with the realtors investing in marketing. We invest $28,000 a month just on marketing, or more. I should think it's more like 38,000. It's up there. So a traditional realtor, when times were tough, they would put this sign on the lawn: price reduced, which means owner must sell, make me an offer. What is wrong with the sign? We don't want that on your lawn. You want to price your home and reposition your home when the price is not the price that's selling. If it's not selling, you want to reposition it. And usually a change is between 4 and 6%. So, pre-marketing strategy. What do we do before it goes on the market? Everything we do to your home is to get your home sold in 2 hours, to get the most eyeballs on your property. So our pre-marketing strategy is everything we do before it goes on the market. People don't talk about that. Agents don't talk about that. They talk about, when it goes on the market, I'm going to do this. But what are you doing? What are you doing to take your time? How much money are you spending on listing my home? The first thing you have to do is you have to sign a Bright MLS waiver form. Now, that form you can get from us. Usually we give it to you when you're at the physical seminar. And that form allows us to help you without putting your home on the market in the MLS if you're not ready. We have to give that form to them at least 3 days after you sign paperwork, and then you don't have to go on the market. Otherwise, you would have to go on the market. So most realtors don't even know that. They list your home and then put you right on the market, even though you're not ready. Then you want to start preparing your home for sale using the room by room checklist, home inspection, things like that. Stage your home for photos, have us come in, move things around. We'll let you know what things you should keep there for showings and what things you want out of the house altogether, or in your garage, or pack somewhere. Hopefully pack in someone else's house. And then we'll get your fabulous pictures with the wide angle lens. We'll syndicate you to thousands of websites like we showed you. And we'll listen to the feedback, because that's 21 days before. We only have 21 days. You're not allowed to do more than that. We used to do more than that. You read it in my book, and they got us down to everybody has to do the same things, only 21 days before. We can't be different. So we have to listen to the feedback. Then we adjust the price. Maybe we should be higher. Maybe we should be lower. Maybe we didn't do it right. But I'm pretty much 99%. I haven't changed prices in a while. I always like to price right now a little bit on the lower side to get more. And that's been very successful in that, because most buyers today will tell me, do not show me homes this high. Say, don't show me homes up to 500. I could afford it. Show me up to 450. And then I could put the extra 50,000 in on going over asking price. So buyers are asking you to show houses to them, only ones that are lower price, so they have room to negotiate up versus down. We used to do it the other way around. So that's why you want to price it accordingly and sell your home in 2 hours. Okay, so that's about marketing. Now, there's a lot more than this in my book, and we can go on. We can just do one seminar on marketing for an hour, but I'm just going to get through this a little quickly. And if questions, we can talk to you individually. Coming soon is the next shark, because if you don't do it, next strategy, I'm sorry, to fight the sharks. If you don't do it, you won't get the eyeballs, because everybody wants a deal. Buyers want something exclusive. They want something they don't think that anybody else is going to have. Coming soon increases odds of a full offer. Yeah, an over list price, I should put there, because people have an eye on it. Like we put this listing on Cherry Hill. We have people calling to get in there now. We could let them in, but we want to build up the process, build up the audience, put it in the MLS, and now we're just waiting till next Saturday. You can give me a call. I can tell you how it works out. I have a feeling it's going to go over 380. So that 350 house from 3 months ago, I said in the earlier part of the seminar, it might even go for 400. Because this market, boots on the ground, is not appreciating at 5%, guys. Those guys have no idea what's going on. I have in a house right now appreciate over almost 10%, over 10%. So I think we're going to have a higher appreciation. Maybe just in the first quarter, but I don't know. But buyers are waiting outside your door. That's what you want. And that's what's going to get you top dollar. So what does this look like? I've been talking about eyeballs and footsteps all day, right? Well, coming soon listings, the idea is coming soon. When you see a trailer for a movie, you watch the trailer. Eyes watch. Footsteps go into the movie theater or over to their TV to stream it online, because that's what's happening today. So eyeballs plus foot traffic. That's what you need. And simple as that. And that's what will get you top dollars. Those beautiful pictures are going to get the eyeballs. The target market copy is going to get you eyeballs, because you never get another opportunity to get another first impression. And that's the way it works in real estate. No one should tell you anything different than that. Okay. So if you're going to list with a person who doesn't show, has no proof that they can get eyeballs on your property and the footsteps to come in and the track record of selling homes, 100% of they sell. And on average, we have on average of $30,000 over list price. I've had ones at 100, some at 10. I mean, 30 seems to be about on average for last year. Okay, strategy number 7. I'm not getting into pricing today, but I will let you know that home values are going up. Talked about that, right? That each one of you on the call today, and anybody who listens to this online on YouTube, or Facebook, call for your annual equity analysis. Find out where your pinpoint pricing is for your home. We like to say that once your home is listed, if you don't have offers in the first few days, you're at least 4% over. Okay, 4% over, 4 to 6. And then you just keep dropping in 4 to 6% increments is the idea and key about pinpoint pricing. And last strategy is Saturday showtime. Most realtors get a home, they get it listed right away because they want to make what? A commission check. But we like to wait for Saturdays. And that's because Saturday showtime is the time where you get the most eyeballs and footsteps. Or eyeballs might have looked in the computer that week before, and all the showings are being set up for Saturday. We have a ton of showings set up for this house in Cherry Hill coming up on the market. Saturday showing. Saturday's the day where you get the most footsteps. That's the highest showing indicator day from showing time is a Saturday. It's like a movie, right? When you watch a trailer, you're watching the coming soon, same thing. Saturday showtime, have a show, put on a show, have an open house that Sunday, get as many people in the door, and get offers Monday or Tuesday. We're doing now is we're actually waiting down the week a little bit further, because sometimes we found that the more we wait, maybe a few more days to accept offers, we're getting even higher ones. Some properties take even 7 days to get offers because it's just not grabbing everybody. It's just priced maybe a little higher. Something's off. You have to wait and see what kind of holidays are around too before you start listing on a Saturday. Make sure it's not on around the holiday. Here's where we work. It's our office building that Stan and I own, and we're in Abington. This is where the office staff search. I'm out on the road most of the time, and there's our truck in the background there. That's the truck we can use to move stuff in. So people ask at the seminar, what's next? I emailed everybody, or somebody in the office emailed everybody, what's next card. And like, this is what's next for you. You were given, which I didn't have on screen here. You were given a free photo shoot certificate yesterday. You were given a free room by room review certificate. First, creating your own personal home selling plan, get your free room by room, get your photo shoot, and then a free house evaluation. If you go to, I forget the website, but it's a smart zip. It's just an automated thing. But in order for us to give you a more detailed one, we need to know a little bit more about your house. We could do it via Zoom. If you're not ready for people to come in your house, or you can just go outside, let us in, we'll write notes, and then we'll meet on Zoom after. That's been a very good way of doing things, where we would come in, you leave, we come in, take notes and everything, and then we go on Zoom later that day or another day. That's a real good one. Or we just come over, wear a mask, and we'll be fine. Or photo shoot. So that's kind of the next steps for everybody. And I'm not sure. So I'm going to stop the share right now and go on with some questions and things like that. Does anybody have any questions right now? Any questions? Okay, so no question. Yeah, so one person had asked me to answer this question the other day. I'm not sure why my video. Okay, why? Okay, there it is. I went away for a second. What question somebody asked me the other day was about the pricing, and we went over that a little bit in the first section. But the question they had asked, which was a good question, was, and that made me spark up the idea. It's like, well, what do I do with my roof? It's 25 years old and it's nearing the end of its life expectancy. So she was thinking about taking the equity of her home and putting it into the roof. So I did a complete annual equity thing with her. I'd been in her house before. And basically what I found out for her doing the equity analysis is that she should move. Because the money she would have put in this big house by herself would be like $25,000. So yeah, the property may appraise, may appreciate that this year. You don't know, but we could put that into the next home. And as interest rates are low now, buy, because in 3 months when they go to 3.7, if they do, the fourth quarter, it's going to cost you more for that house. Let's put that money into your next, because you want to move. Emotionally, she needs to move. I mean, emotionally, she doesn't know what to do. She's afraid, but she should move. So moving is the best answer, especially when the home has problems that could arise with large dollar signs, windows like that. If you have stucco, right? Stucco is really the worst. If you have stucco right now, you should be calling right away. Or any major thing wrong with cement or things like that. They're the things. Because the idea is to fight the home selling sharks. We love our sharks, but we like to fight the ones in your house and make sure that it's time for you to get an analysis. Find out what's wrong. What's wrong with that, right? Anybody else have any questions? Jack, Kathy, Cheryl, Stan, Diane, John, Mary. Okay, I think we've gone through a lot. I think that, so normally this time in a seminar when we're live, we give out gift certificates to Scoogie's Restaurant. So what we're gonna do is, now that we actually have a ton more people on that never registered, which is fine. So the people that had registered, we're gonna go through the whole list. We're gonna put it in a basket and we're gonna pick out for one person to win a $20 gift certificate to Scoogie's Restaurant here in Flowertown. And we'll be giving those out. We'll let you know by email and sending them to you in the mail. Anything maybe that we missed today, Bob? But anything you want to add on? What's going on with some of the listings that we have right now?
Yeah, I mean, we covered a lot. I think the statistics this morning were great. And, and as Stanley pointed out earlier, as the different price levels, I think that every house is going to be different. You're going to have different things that are going to come up that we might look at as more important than another house, property, lot, etc. So, it's best to schedule your room by room so we can at least get started. Even if you're 2, 3, 4 years out, you can start planning now so you're ready when the time comes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know any other realtor or real estate consultant broker that will spend 5 years with somebody before they even get a dollar.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes back to us tenfold because the amount of people that they will introduce us to along the way, because it's all about introduction. So your goal is to go out there today, guys, and just let people know about the seminar, what you've learned, and so they come to the next one, and which is on April. But we're going to be doing online market updates every month. So I will be scheduling them with my web guy, the technician, and he will post them up online. So do like a half hour, 20-minute, probably more like a half an hour market update with questions on a monthly basis. Because I think right now, because of the volatility, I would love to spend every month 30 minutes explaining to everybody what's going on. So I think waiting till April, I think it was April 4th, is our next seminar. We're supposed to be live, but I think we're going to be probably on Zoom. We'll see how things go. I think it's waiting too long. I think we need to do these monthly updates now, the market, and let people know what we're doing, right, Bob?
Right now, yeah.
We're out there on the trenches. We know more than what these experts know. Matter of fact, the listing that just got a nice listing, and I love to talk about addresses because we'll get in trouble, but a nice listing in Mount Airy, for example. And geez, I went out there, I thought the price was more. I just looked at the houses are starting to pop up now. I don't know if you looked at that. And then the house next to Ripley, the one we have on Ripley Street, next door, it did sell for $370. Couldn't believe it. Unbelievable. Wow. So now we can make better decisions with our property.
Yeah.
So we keep in touch. I think it's better to keep in touch on a monthly basis. And if you want your annual equity analysis, what we can do is send you an email every time, an automated email system that will send you a list of properties in your market area that are like yours, that when they come on the market, you'll actually be like, see what a buyer sees, and you'll see how, so if you want that as well, that would be something else. So we will be reaching out to you and asking you what things you'd like to have. You can email us, but those are the things you need to understand about the market. Get your free room by room, get your photo certificate, and hopefully you are the winner of the $20 gift certificate to Squeegees. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time.
See ya.
Stay warm. Bye.